Okay, we'll start now. Today we're going to discuss on experiment. That is to compute DFT as well as IDFT by FFT. Now you know the theory, right? We have already discussed this many a times. The theory behind this is now you need to know how to solve a given problem using FFT algorithm. So you know that now we have already discussed this particular algorithm, right? Now there are two algorithms. One is DIT FFT algorithm, other one is DIF FFT algorithm. This is an example which I have taken is for DIF FFT algorithm, wherein input is x of n time domain sequence, so which you can observe here, and output is frequency domain sequence. Similarly, we have one more algorithm to convert time domain samples to frequency domain, that is DIT FFT algorithm. Now, for this you can use either DIT FFT algorithm or DIF FFT algorithm. In exam, they can ask you whichever method they want. The internal examiner as well as external examiner we're going to discuss, and then they'll let you know which algorithm you are supposed to use. Based on that, for the given sequence. So sequence will be given something like this, which based on this, you need to solve for that particular problem first based on the given algorithm. Here, I have taken an example of DIF FFT algorithm and solve for that using this. So in DIF FFT algorithm, you know that it's a combination of 8 and then 4 and then 2. If it is DIT, it is combination of 2, 4 as well as 8, and finally you will obtain the result. Okay. Now once you obtain the result, next we're going to write the code. Now we'll see the code. So this is the code, very easy, very simple, which you can remember it easily. The first 3 lines is as usual. The first line is C. This will do. This will clear the command window, clear space all. This will clear the variables that what you have created here, that is in the workspace. And the third one is close all. This close all will closes any additional window if it has already been opened. So these 3 will be the first 3 commands. Now what we are doing here, we are computing an FFT, right? In other words, we are converting time domain sequence into frequency domain. So what is the input? Input is time domain sequence. So first I'll ask the user to enter a time domain sequence. In general, this time domain sequence could be anything, right? This time domain sequence could be anything. As a result, now what I'll do is I'll ask user to enter the time domain sequence. Let x is equal to input, enter the time domain sequence. I'll ask the user. Okay, since there is a semicolon here, this line will not execute in command window. Okay, this line will not appear in command window. Through this line, we are asking user to enter the time domain sequence. Okay, and then we need to ask the user how many point DFT he is interested in. Okay, it could be 4 point, 5 point, 3 point, whatever it may be. It's a choice of a user. So I won't tell that it should be 8 point or it should be 4 point. It depends, right? It depends on the user. So what I'll do is I'll ask user to enter how many point DFT that particular client is needed. So as a result here, user will enter the number of points which he or she is interested in. Okay, the next one is to find DFT using FFT. So in MATLAB, we have inbuilt function by name FFT. Okay, in MATLAB, we have inbuilt function by name FFT of input sequence. This is x represents input sequence, and n represents number of points, total number of points. In general, input sequence, if it is time domain, it's always represented with small x of n, right? Even while solving the problems. So I'll use small x here. Okay, and n total number of points. It could be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever it may be. In class, we have solved for 4 point, 8 point, 5 point. Similarly, here it depends on the user. So once you calculate FFT, output is always x of k, capital X of k. So here Instead of capital X of K, I'll represent the same with capital X, letter capital X. Okay, since I have used inbuilt function, so you can compute FFT, in other words DFT, with just one line with the help of this. This is the only thing which you should remember in this program. Rest, it's only the asking input from the user and plotting the input and plotting the output. That's it. This itself will give you the output. Okay, this itself will give you the output. And where it is stored? That will be stored in variable X. Okay, next, and I'll explain line number 14 now. In line number 14, what I'm doing here is I'm plotting the input sequence. So from where to where input will vary. It will vary from n is equal to 0 to length of small x minus 1. See here x is the input, right? So length of x will gives you how many points user has entered here. Okay, so it could be 4, 5, 6 depending upon how many input numbers or you will give here. Okay, in general n will always start with 0 and end with maximum number minus 1 times. The same logic I'm using here. N will vary from 0 to length of x minus 1 times. Okay, what I need to do, I need to plot this. Okay, plot this sequence. Plot the sequence which user has entered at line number 7. In general, it is a discrete signal, right? It's a discrete signal. So, which is another inbuilt function which you'll use? I'll use stem. In general, stem is an inbuilt function which we'll use in order to represent discrete functions. Okay, stem of what and what? This first variable represent x-axis, second variable represent y-axis. X-axis is time axis, right? Which is in general we represent it with variable n. Okay, n will vary from where to where, 0 to length of x minus 1. And what you need to represent in y-axis? Y-axis is magnitude axis. Magnitude of what? Magnitude of time domain sequence. So time domain sequence we have stored in which variable? If you observe line number 7, it is small x. Okay, that's why stem of n comma x. What is the title for it? It's a time sequence, right? It's a time sequence. So title, time sequence. So through these lines, what I'm doing here is I'm representing input sequence. That's it. Okay, and I should label both x-axis as well as y-axis. Like what is the label for x-axis? It is n. What is the label for y-axis? It is it is y of n. So far we just plotted input sequence. What else we need to plot? We need to plot output sequence as well, right? For that, I'll take another variable. What is that variable? That variable, here I call it as k, where k varies from 0 to n minus 1. Okay, and then figure subplot. Why I need subplot? Because I need to represent both magnitude as well as phase. As a result, I'll take subplot. Subplot of 2, 1, 1. That means for the given graphs, it will divide into 2 parts, right? It will divide that into 2 parts, right? 2 rows, 1 column in that first row. Okay, you understood. 2 rows, first row, second row, because I need in one row I need to plot magnitude, in another area I need to plot phase plot. Okay, but I need only 1 column in that particular graph sheet. And that first plot, in first plot, what I need to draw, I need to plot magnitude response. If you want magnitude, I should now in general, capital X may not be a real number. It will be combination of real as well as imaginary. In other words, it could be complex numbers as well. But in magnitude response, I need absolute value, right? So for that, I'll use another inbuilt function, that is AABS of x. Which x? Capital X, because here is the place where you have stored output. Okay, here you'll get actual output, which may be real number as well as complex numbers. But here, since I need to plot the magnitude, I need only absolute value. So I'll use another inbuilt function, that is ABS of x. Stem of k comma ABS of x. Okay, using this you can plot absolute value or magnitude of x. Okay, which is in general, which is time down frequency domain sequence. Then title. What is the title for it? Title for that is magnitude response. Okay, similarly, I need to label it. What is X label? X label, we have converted time domain sequence into frequency domain, right? So in time domain, we have used a variable small n. Whereas in frequency domain, we'll use a variable k. As a result, if you observe here, it is X label is k. What about Y label? Y label is magnitude of X of k, right? The same thing have written here, magnitude capital X of k. Okay, this is what we have plotted in one part. We have another part as well, right? There, what I need to plot? I need to plot phase response. So if you observe here, I have taken the second half of the same, that is subplot of 2, 1, 2. Here again, 2 rows, 1 column in that second part. What I need to do here, I need to represent phase. How to get phase of X of k? I need to use angle, right? So there is inbuilt function angle of X. Okay, I use that particular inbuilt function. Through that, I'll get angles of capital X. Okay, I need to plot that with respect to variable k. Why k? Because we have already converted time domain to frequency domain. In frequency domain, it's all k, right? The variable is k. Okay, and then what is the title for it? Title is phase response. What is X label? X label is k. In both the cases, both in magnitude as well as phase response, it is k only. And what is the Y label here? Y label is phase, right? We are representing phase. So it is phase of X of k. Now let us now run this and check the output. So I'm running this. So if you run this, now it is in command window. If you observe, it is asking the user to enter. It is asking the user to enter time domain sequence. Okay. So I'll enter some numbers. I'll enter 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let this be my input sequence X of n. Enter the number of points of DFT. How many points are there? There are 4 points, right? So I'll enter 4 now. Okay. I'm interested to obtain 4-point DFT. That is what is the meaning of it. Now I'll press enter. As a result, you are getting answer which you can verify. So first one is 10. First one is 10, and the next one is -2 plus 2i, and third one is 2, and last answer should be conjugate of the second answer, right? See here, -2, here plus 2i, here -2i. Okay, symmetry property we are proving. Along with that, we need to as per the program, we need to plot both input sequence as well as output sequence, right? So we will check that in the graph. So this is input representation. Okay, what is the input? The input for us is 1, 2, 3 as well as 4. So if you observe, this is the input representation 1, 2, 3, 4 at n is equal to 0, 1, 2 as well as 3. So this is input representation. Now we'll see the output. So this is the output. Okay, output. Now we are representing only magnitude as well as phase. Okay, first one is 10, right? If you observe this, if you observe the command window, first one is 10 plus 0i. If you take magnitude, that is root of 10 square plus 0 square, you'll get 10 only. So if you observe here, it is 10. At n is equal to 1, you will get different answer. It depends on what is the value here. That is under the root 2 square plus 2 square. 4 plus 4, 8 under the root, right? So you'll get that particular answer. Similarly, root of this with square, magnitude, you know how to calculate absolute value, right? Similarly, absolute value you found out, and then you represent the same. So you'll get these values. 10 at 1, you'll get this value. At 2, you'll get this value. And at 3, you'll get this value. Similarly, this is phase plot. You need to find out angle. That is tan inverse of b by a. Okay, at 0, since you don't have imaginary part, you'll get 0 degrees. And similarly, for other values, that is at n is equal to 1, 2, and 3, you'll get different angles. Sometimes you may get negative values as well. And sometimes you may not calculate as well. So it all depends on what are the values you will get it there. Okay. Now, so far we understood how to find out DFT. Similarly, we can also find out IDFT, right? very simple. We need to do certain changes in the same program so that we can get IDFT as well. First 3 lines will remain same. Instead of small x, what is the input? If you want to obtain IDFT, it is capital X. So you need to enter this same thing. So instead of small x, capital X. So what does capital X represents? It is frequency domain sequence, right? That's it. Instead of time, you write frequency. And this n will remain same, no change. So here, instead of small x, sorry, capital X, what we need to obtain? We'll obtain small x, right? We'll obtain small x. Small x. What I'm using another inbuilt function. IFFT is an inbuilt function through which I can find inverse, or in the words IDFT. What are the inputs for this? It is capital X and N. What does capital X represents? Frequency domain sequence with respect to number of points. And if you want to represent this, it is almost the same thing. Instead of small x, it is capital X. N will vary from 0 to length of x minus 1. So here, instead of small x, it is capital X, because the given sequence is in terms of capital X. Then stem of n comma x. So title will be frequency sequence, and then x label will be k, and y label will be x of k. Okay, and then at the output we will get time domain sequence, right? So instead of k varying from 0 to n minus 1, here n will vary from 0 to n minus 1. And then these things will remain same. Figure, subplot, because again we need to plot now magnitude. Magnitude itself is sufficient here, because now you won't get any phase here. Okay, so I'll represent only the magnitude. Okay, so stem of n comma x. Okay, no, even if you use this, you'll get back the same, because small x, it's all real numbers. If it is not real numbers, something we might have done wrong here. And then title will be time response, x label n, and magnitude x of n. So you won't get this part. Why we won't get this part? Because even if you calculate, you will all get 0, right? No angle for real numbers. So only this much is sufficient. Up to this much is sufficient for us. Okay, hope you have understood. Any doubts you have? Any doubts you have? You can ask that, or you can post that. Any doubts? No, it's very easy. Only thing is you need to remember these 2 lines. One is this, other one is this. FFT to find out. Somebody is asking me to show us the output graph. Okay. Is it? Can you view this now? Can you see this graph? No. Okay. Let me check. Let me check what is happening here. One second. Let me check. Okay, check this now. Can you see now? I think you can see now. Okay, yeah, thank you. See here, now I'll explain this once again. If you can remember, x of n we got it as 10, 2 plus 2j, some number, and 2 minus 2j, something like that, right? So magnitude of 10 is 10 only at n is equal to 0. At n is equal to 1, it is root of 2 square plus 2 square. And then what is the answer? You'll get that here. Now at n is equal to 2, you will get another answer. At n is equal to 3, it's another answer. If the value of n is 8, you'll get 4 more answers. Similarly, phase. Since we don't have imagined part, it is showing angle is 0, and then at n is equal to 1, you'll get some degrees. At n is equal to 2, you'll get some other degree. At n is equal to 3, you will get some other degree. You calculate that in theory and you verify that here. Similar to first experiment. So in first experiment, we found out DFT of a given sequence, right? There also we plotted magnitude as well as phase. There we use the formula summation n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n wn k into n. We use two methods. One is formula method, other one is matrix method. And then we calculated x of k as we also calculated magnitude as well as phase, and we represented there. Here with one line, one single line, you will get the answer. If it is TFT, you will get it with help of FFT of input sequence, comma number of points. Okay, and store that in some variable. Similarly, if you want to find out inverse, you can use IFFT of input, comma number of points, store that in some variable. Only those two inbuilt function you need to remember. So hope you understood this. In any other clarification you need, we have another 4 minutes. So this is the program. This is the program. If you run that, you will get output like this, and you already saw the plot. Okay, then now if you don't have any doubts, let me wind up today's session with this.